Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Michelle Ferguson and I'm the crochet pattern designer of Two Brothers Blankets. Today we are going to be crocheting the Magnolia Tee. This is one of my favorite summer tops. It's super simple to make and works up fairly quick. You're going to need some DK weight yarn for this project. I recommend like a cotton blend, if cotton bamboo or cotton acrylic blend. For this one I used Kobu. For this one, I use Kabu. It is a DK weight, 51% cotton, 49% rayon from Bamboo Blend. You can get it at Line Brand. I'll link it in the description. You'll also need your crochet. I'm using a G 4mm Furl Streamline wood hook that I will link in the description as well. And then you'll need your scissors, your measuring tape, and your yarn needle for weaving in ends. All right, let's go ahead and get started. To get started, we are going to do round one as a round of chainless foundation double crochet stitches. I have a tutorial for this that I will link that goes a lot slower and will help you step by step. I'm going to quickly show you how to do a foundation double crochet, chainless foundation double crochet. And if you need to look at that tutorial, you can as well. So to start off, I got my slip knot. I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to yarn over and insert my hook in that first chain that I chained. I'm going to yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, 3 loops on my hook, then yarn over, pull through 2 loops on my hook, and yarn over and pull through 2. And I have essentially created a double crochet stitch without chaining. I just did my starting chain. Now I don't have to chain anymore. I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to insert my hook underneath the 2 back loops of that stitch that I just created. So I'm just going over here. This is the bottom. This is the top. I'm going on the bottom. I've yarned over. Insert my hook under those loops. Yarn over, pull up a loop. 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull through 1. 3 loops on my hook again, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops on my hook, yarn over and pull through 2. So now I have 2 double crochet stitches. Here's my bottom. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm working under the 2 loops of the stitch that I just made. So the last one that I just made, I'm at the bottom. Yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 1, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through those 2. So here I have 1, 2, 3 stitches. And so I am going to do this for 152 stitches for size medium. And then I will join to my first stitch with a slip stitch. I'll go ahead and do the 152 and then I'll show you how to join and we'll get started on the rest of our top. All right, I've just completed the 152 chainless foundation double crochet stitches and I'm ready to join to my first to complete round one. So I'm just going to find my first stitch over here that I created. I'm up at the top now. I've laid it out flat just to be sure that I'm not having any twisting or anything like that. And I'm going to take my yarn and I'm just going to join it with a slit stitch. So I'm going to go underneath the 2 loops at the top of the stitch, yarn over, insert my hook, pull it through that stitch and then through the loop on the other end to join my round, to create my round. So let's also double check again that we are flat and no twisting or anything. And now we're ready to move on to our next round. So for round 2, it says to long chain. I have a video for this as well. You're going to pull up a loop about the height of a double crochet and chain 1, and then we're going to turn our work and we're going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch around and join to the first stitch. And we're going to do that for rounds 2 and 3. So I'm just going to work 1 double crochet in every single stitch around. Then I'll have 152 double crochet around, and then I'll join to my first stitch with a slip stitch. All right, I've done rounds 2 and 3. I joined to the first stitch with a slip stitch. So I have 3 rounds of double crochet here. Now we're ready for round 4. For round 4, we're just going to chain 1, turn our work, do 1 single crochet in the first stitch, and then we are going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are going to skip the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and single crochet in the next. So you'll have 3 unworked stitches under your chain 5 space. And then we're going to repeat that. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet in the first stitch. And we are going to repeat that around and join to our first stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skip 3, single crochet in the next, all the way around. Okay, I'm at my last chain 5. I have 3 stitches left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to skip over those 3 stitches and join to my first stitch, which is that first single crochet with a slip stitch. So we're not doing a single crochet at the end. We are just joining it to the first single crochet. So this is the end of round 4. Now for rounds 5 and 6, they are the same. We are going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, turn, and it says to do 1 single crochet around the first chain 5 space. So this is our chain 5 space. I'm just going to do a single crochet around it, like so. And then our repeat is chain 5, 1 single crochet around the next chain 5 space. Chain 5. I want to point out, you want to keep your tension, be very mindful of your tension when doing these chain spaces. You want to try to keep it the same. You don't want your chain spaces too tight, too loose. Mostly you want to worry about having them too loose, because that's just going to make the chain part of your garment just fit way too big. So you want to be mindful of your tension as you are doing these chains, and try to keep them the same and not too loose. When you go back to your double crochets, it will bring things in, but you definitely don't want it to get too loose, to where it's just expanding outwards when you're doing your top. So just be mindful of that when you are working these chain rounds, and try to keep it all very the same, very similar with your tension. So I'm going to work this all the way around, and I'll show you how we're going to join at the end and get back to our double crochet rounds. Okay, I've single crocheted in the last chain 5 space for round 5. I am going to, it says to join to your first chain space. So I am going to join just around this chain space and do a slip stitch. That just pulls them together, like so. So then for round 6, I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 5, turn, and do the same thing. 1 single crochet in the chain space, around the chain space, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and single crochet around the chain space. And I'm going to do that all the way around and join the same way. Okay, I've completed round 6. I have 38 chain 5 spaces around, and now I'm ready for round 7. So we're going back to our double crochet stitches. It says to long chain, turn, and it says to do 4 double crochet around the chain 5 space and repeat around. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to work around this chain 5 space just like I did the single crochet. I'm going to do 4 double crochet in each chain 5 space, working around it like so. So I've got 4 double crochet around that chain 5 space, and then I'm going to go into the next one and do 4 double crochet around it. And I am going to repeat that all the way around. Each of my chain 5 spaces are going to have 4 double crochet, which should bring me back to 152 double crochet. And then I am going to join to the first stitch with a slip stitch. Okay, I've completed round 7. I joined to my first stitch with a slip stitch. So rounds 8 and 9 are just going to be a long chain, turn, and work 1 double crochet in each stitch around. So just like down here, we're going to have 3 rounds of double crochet. So these next 2 rounds, I'm just working 1 double crochet in each stitch around. And I'll join to my first. Be sure to turn each round. Turning each round keeps it consistent with the top when we split into rows for the panels. That's why we are turning. And then once we finish 8 and 9, rounds 10 through 33 are going to be our repeat rounds for this side. And so I'm repeating rounds 4 through 9. So I'll finish 8 and 9. And then I'll go back into my chain rounds, and I'll be alternating every 3 rounds will be double crochet, then chains, double crochet until I get to round 39 for this size. And once I get to 39, we will split the panel into rows to create panels that will give us our armhole. So I'm going to do rounds 8 through 39 now off camera, and then I'll come back and show you how to get started on those panels. All right, I've completed through round 33. This is where we will begin our panels. This is a good point to check your fit. You want the bottom of this to lay right at your hips where any other shirt would lay. And the top should come to just below the armpit area. This is where your armholes are going to start. So where you want those armholes to start is where you want that to be. And then you want it to lay at the bottom, at the top of your hips, where your shirt will end. And so you want to make sure that this portion of the garment fits up to this point. And once you got a good fit, if you need to add more rounds, you need more length, you would just want to do another repeat of your 3 rounds of chain spaces and 3 rounds of double crochet. And just do one more repeat of that, and then you'll be ready to start your panels. So we're going to go ahead and start our back panel. We're not fastening off. We're keeping it attached, and we're just going to turn, and we're only going to work half of the circumference of this, and then we'll be working in rows from this point on. Okay, so for row 1 of our back panel, it says to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and turn our work. So this is my back panel. I'm working along the wrong side of the back panel. It says to skip the next 3 stitches. So we're going to count the one here, this first one here. 1, 2, 3, and single crochet in the next. Okay, and then we are going to do our repeat. We're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 3. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet in the next. And it says to do that, to repeat that for a total of 19 chain spaces for this size. Check your pattern if you're doing a different size for the number of chain spaces you're going to do across. But for size medium, we're going to be doing 19. So I'm just going to repeat. I got 2 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 3. Single crochet in the first. And now I have 3. I'm going to do that until I get to 19. All right, I've got 19 chain 5 spaces. Now, instead of continuing on, we're going to be turning and working in our rows. So for rows 2 and 3, we are going to chain 5, turn, and do 1 single crochet around the chain 5 space, like so. and then repeat it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a single crochet around the next chain 5 space. And we're going to repeat that all the way across. So we'll have 19 chain 5 spaces again, and then you're going to do the exact same thing for row 3. Okay, I've completed rows 2 and 3. So I've got my 3 rows of chain spaces here. Now for row 4, it says to long chain, turn, and we're going to work 4 double crochet around each chain 5 space across. So I'm just going to go ahead and work around that first chain 5 space and do my double crochet, and I'm going to do 4. Just like we were doing before, we're just now working in rows. And then I'm going to do 4 in the next one, around the next one. And repeat that across. I will have 76 double crochet once I have completed each one. So I'm going to do that now. I have completed row 4. I have 76 double crochet. And now rows 5 and 6 are both a repeat of long chain, turn your work, and do 1 double crochet in each stitch across. So we're just going to work our double crochets just like we did before in each stitch across for 2 rows. Okay, I've completed rows 5 and 6. So here's what it looks like. It's pretty much the same. We're just working in rows to leave this part open for our armholes. So for rows 7 through 12 for this size, I'm just going to do that all over again. I'm going to repeat rows 1 through 6. Look at your pattern to see what size you're making and how many rows you need to do. Some of them will repeat 2 more times and some 3 more times. If you get to where the pattern says to be and you feel like, nope, I'm definitely going to need more space in the armholes, you can do another repeat. Or you could even if you just need a little more space, you could do the 3 rows of chain spaces and then just the first row of double crochet. You just want to end on a double crochet row so that it will be easy to join at the shoulders. But your armhole needs to be from about the armpit, just below the armpit, to the top of the shoulders. If you want to fit check there, you could also do both panels and fit check it. And if you need to add or take away, you can easily do that as well, because we're just slip stitching. We're not sewing or anything. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to do rows 7 through 12, and then we're going to fasten off and start on our front panel. Okay, I've completed my back panel and I fastened off, and now we're going to do the front panel. So to do my front panel, I'm going to turn it around. I've got it turned around here. I'm facing the right side. This is the right side out. So I'm going to go over to where my back panel ended, down over here on this side. And then my next unworked stitch is right here, this next one from the bottom panel that I did not work in. So I ended right here, and then we've got an unworked stitch. I'm going to join my yarn. Oops. And then it says to repeat the exact same steps for back panel. So I'm going to go back to the back panel on the pattern, and I'm going to do row 1. Look at row 1. It says chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and turn my work. So we're working on the wrong side, just like we started out the back panel. And then we are going to skip the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and single crochet in the next, just like the back panel. And we're going to repeat that across for a total of 19 chain 5 spaces. So now we're doing exactly what we did for the back panel. And you're going to repeat the exact same steps. And your chain spaces should end back over here where the back panel starts. So you'll end on that last stitch, that last unworked stitch. And you should have 19 chain 5 spaces. Okay, I did round 1. I've got 19 chain 5 spaces, and I ended at that last unworked stitch where the back panel started. So now I'm going to continue on repeating rows 2 through 6 until I get to row 12. And then it will be just like the back panel. So I'll have 3 rows of chain 5 spaces, 3 rows of double crochet, 3 rows of chain 5, and then 3 rows of double crochet to finish. And then we will seam our shoulders. At the end of your front panel, it says do not fasten off once you've reached the same number of rows completed in the back panel. And then it tells you to fit check again there. Make sure there's enough room in the armhole area. So you'll hold that up to your shoulders. Make sure there's enough room. And then we'll start seaming the shoulders. So I'm going to do this front panel, and then we'll do the seaming on camera. All right, I'm done with my front panel, and now we're ready to join at our shoulders to create these armholes and seam up our shoulders. So what we're going to do is we're not going to fasten off, but we're going to turn the garment inside out. So we're going to do just like so that it's inside out. And let me get everything situated. Then we are going, here we go, to take our 2 panels and line them up together where our stitches are. And it says, working from the outer edge inward towards the middle, be sure to work through both panels. Slip stitch in each stitch across for 19 for this size stitches. I'm going to take my panels, I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to find the first stitch of both panels, on both panels. I'm going to insert my hook under the 2 loops of both panels. And then I'm going to slip stitch them together, and I'm going to do that to all of the stitches for 19 stitches. So this is 2. Don't work too tight. Watch your tension with this. You don't want it to bulge up or anything. Okay, once I've got 19, I am going to fasten off. And I'm going to leave a pretty long tail just in case I want to add or take away some stitches. We're going to fit check after we seam up our shoulders, and we may want more or less seamed up here. So now I'm going to go to the other side and join my yarn into the first stitch of these panels. I'm going to insert my hook into the first stitch of each panel, pull through, chain 1, and then I'm going to turn it around because going this way. And then I'm going to do the same thing, slip stitch in each stitch, slip stitch each stitch together for 19 stitches. Okay, I've got 19 on both sides. And like I said, you may want to check your fit here before you fasten off, or leave a long tail when you fasten off in case you want to add more slip stitches to your neckline, depending on how long you want it. But then we're going to turn it back right side facing. And now we have our armholes. Try it on at this point. for the neckline and the armholes to determine that everything fits okay, that your neckline opening is not too big, not too small, and the same for the armholes. And then for the rest of your garment, all you got to do is some optional sleeve trim. So you'll take your yarn for the armhole trim and just join it to the bottom here in the armpit area. And chain one. And it just says single crochet evenly around the armhole, join to first. So we'll just work some single crochets all the way around. And keep count so you can do the same on the other side. The same amount of stitches on the other side. Okay, and then row 2 for the armhole trim, you're just going to chain 1 and do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So every single crochet stitch that you just made, do another single crochet stitch into it. And you can make this trim thicker if you want by adding more rounds and just doing single crochet in each one. All right, and to finish off, we're going to join to the first and fasten off our trim. And then you'll do the same thing to the other side. Here's our trim. And if you want to do a neckline trim, you can totally do that as well. And then you're gonna weave in all these ends, and your Magnolia tee will be complete. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I'm happy to help. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.